Hello and good evening. So, welcome to the trade breakdown of Tuesday's longs, Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. That was yesterday. So, I took longs from around this area and I rode them all the way to 23,900. The last take profit closed today during the London session. Yes. So let's go over the trade step by step. All right. So this vertical line here, I've marked the midnight open as usual. As I've been telling you in the past trade breakdowns, I always mark the midnight open because it is a crucial price point, and I am a time and price trader. So midnight open is quite a crucial time, and the 8:30 open as well as the 9:30 open. There are also other times that I usually check, but I will explain that further as we move ahead with the mentorship and these videos such as this. Stay tuned. Okay, so yesterday we can see that on Nasdaq price opened traded lower. So let us mark first the previous day low, which was the Monday's low. This was the previous day low. Previous day low, previous day high are important levels in the type of trading that I do, which is institutional trading or price action trading. Okay, so the previous day low, I'll mark it on both US100 and US500. All right, so there we go. That is the previous day low on US 500. The previous day low in this case was Monday's low. This was Monday's trading. It posted this low. And then, so let's go back to Nasdaq, which is US 100. Nasdaq opened here at midnight open, traded lower during the London session, and formed this important low. So the London session low is a very important low in trading if you are a time and price trader. So we'll just mark that as the London session low, correct? All right. So we are assuming that price has not done any of this move yet. Okay. So as I mentioned, I usually look at the 8:30 and 9:30 open because that is when the trading floor officially opens. 9:30 for the equities and 8:30 for New York open. So I usually label that as the 9:30 open. I do not take any trades before the 9:30 open for Nasdaq and SP 500. I take all my trades after the 8:30 and 9:30 equity open. All right. So let us observe this price action. So pre 8:30 at 7, this low was posted. So this is yet another point of sell side liquidity, right? Note that. At 8:30, price traded higher and it swept all of this liquidity, which includes the London session, the London session highs. Okay, I'm sorry, forgot to tell you that we need to mark the London session highs. Okay, so I mark the London session high and London session high every time I enter the market at 8:30 open. I mark the London session high and the London session low, which are usually the current daily high and current daily low of the day at that time, at that moment. Okay, so price price raided the London session high and it went ahead and took also the previous day high. But that is not important to us, because if you have watched the weekly preview video, I expected bullish prices. So I did not see this as a reversal. I saw it as a continuation. I saw it as a setup move for the continuation, that is the bullish continuation that I expected during the day and during the week. All right. So let's dig into the setup itself. So after this 830 high formed, I marked it as the current daily high, right? Those are things that I usually have on my chart as I trade. So this was my current daily high. All right. And the London session low was the current daily low. Okay. So I will go to US 500 and I do the same, because these are correlated markets, and I do my intermarket analysis, because that is how I will hunt down an entry to a specific price point. Okay. So I will come and I pick the London session low. All right. London session low. Remember, this vertical line is my daily divider. It's my midnight open line. And then I will mark my London session highs, right? Just as I've mentioned earlier in the video. And then additionally, I will come and draw the two vertical lines representing the 830 open, the 830 open, and I will draw another one to mark the 930 open, right? The 930 equity open. And remember, I'm doing this, all of this, 30 minutes or an hour before the 830 open. Okay. So once I have that, I notice that the 830 has posted an intermediate high. Okay. So I will mark it as my current daily high. So yesterday I marked it as my current daily high, and then I noticed. So if you are not new to trading, you have already noticed. But if you are new to trading, you have not. You will notice that the London session high, the London session low that had formed at 130 had been swept at 7:45 on SP 500. Okay, look at this. You can see that sweep. But when you go back to US 100, you will see that price failed to sweep that London session low. So if you have been keen on my videos, that is what I call an SMT divergence. So US 100 has shown a crack in correlation. So it has tipped to us that the market makers are willing, or they want to push the prices higher today on Tuesday. Okay. So SMT with S&P. So it's a bullish SMT. And then on this other asset, we formed our lower low. Okay. So when I start seeing price action like that, it confirms my bias for the day and probably for the week. But I am mainly an intraday trader, so I tend to focus on the daily bias. Okay. But it is important to be in line with the weekly bias, which is a higher time frame bias. Okay. So once I saw that SMT with S&P, I waited for the 930 open, and I have already marked my current daily high. So what do I do next? After the 930 open, I immediately, after this is the 930 open candle, this one right here. So after it has finished trading and it opens a new candle, I mark the high formed. I marked the high formed from this failed swing high, failed swing low to the current daily high. All right, good. So once it did that, this I plotted my gun box, and I plotted my gun box on the US100 because it is the weaker pair in terms of volatility, but the stronger pair in terms of bullishness. So after an SMT, you go to the stronger pair or the weaker pair in terms of volatility, and you trade it. So I came and plotted the gun box, and all I wanted to see is price trade down below the 50% level and then further to the 25% level. Why? You can see that we had this last down close candle right here. So that is what we call an order block. All right, that is a bullish order block. So I wanted to see price come and trade below the 25% level and ideally retest the order block. It is not a must, but ideally I wanted to see it retest the order block. So at 10, price did exactly that. It retested the order block. So once it did that, that was my go ahead to go down into lower time frames so that I can look for a change in state of delivery so that I can trade the move back upwards, the continuation move, which was my bias for the day, right? So we are already done with the S&P 500. So by now I was focusing only on the Nasdaq US100. So once it did this, I went down to the lower time frames. So I will just highlight this third price action because that is where I want to look for. Below the 50% is where I want to look for my long entry, okay, my buys. Anytime I say long entries or longs or I took longs, what I mean is that I bought the market, okay. So I'll just delete that. Okay, so let's go down to the 1 minute time frame because that is where I went next. Okay, just a minute as I go back in time. Yesterday's price action was so beautiful, my goodness. Okay, so here we are. This is the rectangle that I shaded so that when we narrow down into the price action, I won't get lost. Okay, so okay. I think its work is done, so I can just delete it. So you remember that this line here, right here, was the order block, all right, and then this dotted represents the SMT. So this, as we dipped into the order block, this was my last set of down close candle. What does then that give me again? Another order block. This was my last set of down close candles. I'll just label that as LDC, last down close candle. Okay, I do not have the template for that, so let's just use it right that. Okay, LDC, last down close candle. So what do I want to see happen to this last down close candle if I want to enter longs? What I want to see is price trade back into it lethargically or with a heavy move, with a heaviness to it. I wanted to see price trade upwards and close above the last set of down close candle. So at around 10:07, 10:08, price came near the last down close candle, the top of the last downside candles, but it did not cross it. went back a little bit lower, and then it came and crossed it lethargically or with a heaviness to it. All right. So once it does that, the as dance close candle, I label it as my CISD, that is my change in state of delivery. What it means that price has now changed from delivering bearish price action to bullish price action. So we have two types of entries. Once it crosses and closes above this candle that you see right here, let me just zoom in so that we can understand this better. So once it crosses, you can enter when the next candle opens, or you can wait for it to go, and then when it retraces back to the to the to the change in state of delivery, when it touches it, you can take your entry there. So because I'm quite used to this, I usually enter when it just opens. So I took my long position right there, placed my stop loss just below this low, okay, because I believe that now the daily low had been posted. All right, not the daily low, because the daily low had been posted earlier, but I believe that price was not to retest these areas anymore if we were to trade bullishly on bullishly during the day. So your first targets were to be here at the 830 highs. All right, these were the 830 highs, 841 highs. So that is where you take off your first take profits, and then I targeted 100 pips from there, which was 23,850. Not 100, 150. Yes, from 618. Okay. So price traded above the 830 highs, which could also be a point of pyramiding your entries if you are that type of a trader, but if you're not, do not have to. So yeah, that is how I took the trade. And let me go to the 5-minute time frame so that we can see it in full scale, how it really trended. So basically this is what we call a low resistance liquidity run, because price keeps spooling and spooling and spooling. If you did not catch the entry here, it's and you did not catch the re-entry after the current daily high was swept, you really do not have another opportunity to catch it unless you wait for the next day retracement or something of the sort. So yeah, that's it for today. That's how I got the August, when was the date? 12th August 2025 on a Tuesday. The trade took approximately let's see, that was, the entry was from 10. First take profits were taken at 11:15, and then after that the stop loss. Okay, I had forgot an important thing. Once we took the current daily high, I moved all these stop loss. I removed all these stop loss. So the remaining entries, you move the stop loss upwards and you bring it to break even. That is just to protect the profits that you have already caught, which were already a lump sum of about let's see how many handles. Let's just measure, because it's just a game of numbers. We'd already caught 108 handles, which is excellent, to be precise. So you move your stop loss to break even, and then you let the remaining ones run, and then at around 1:2 you can then move the stop loss further deeper into profit, where you took your first take profit. But that is those are lessons for another day. The video was just to show you how I took the trade and how I took the TP1, TP2, and so forth. Alright, so thank you for tuning in. See you on the next video. Remember to subscribe, share, and like. That's what's up.